Hello, my name is Peter Huntington. I'm an equine vet and nutritionist with Kentucky Equine Research, and I'm here presenting on behalf of Bluegrass Feeds some tips for you about preparing the sales horse. A brief introduction to Kentucky Equine Research first. We think we're world leaders in equine nutrition. We have been going for nearly 40 years in both Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, and in Australia. And we do a unique combination of research, which develops our knowledge, of consultation, and come up with nutritional solutions for horse owners and for feed manufacturers. And in Ireland, we work with Bluegrass Feeds. I've got sort of 3 short videos, which are chapters, I guess, about preparing the sales horse for you. Firstly, today, introduction and the various stages and key factors in those stages. The second one will be about feeds and supplements that you might want to use, and the third will be about problem solving. So size matters at the sales. They're not sold exactly by the kilo, but buyers are looking at height. They're looking at the right sort of body condition that suggests that the horse isn't a poor doer or isn't a hard keeper. They're looking for muscle. Sometimes you have to use a bit of fat to disguise muscle. With top line, they're looking at bone, and a full growth history of the horse would be valuable. I think that's something that tells a buyer more than just the snapshot on the day about the horse's life, because if the horse has had good, solid, consistent growth, that suggests it's got the best chance to be a great athlete. Growth monitoring mostly done by eye, and by the time you're getting to preparing for the sales, much of it needs to be done. So if you think about weighing horses, I'm not sure how many of you do weigh horses, but it adds a more objective measure to the growth of the horse. And there's various opportunities to weigh them. Get a set of scales. You can weigh when the mare is being vetted, when they're being trimmed. Certainly weigh them during the prep. It's a valuable aid to managing calorie intake during the prep. And if you are weighing, measure height, because that adds value. A tall horse should be heavier, a short horse will be lighter. We have a cloud-based software package called GrowTrack that really helps with interpretation, and that's a free service with the use of the Bluegrass Feeds. So GrowTrack cloud-based, and what we have is the ability to track the body weight of a foal against a reference, the reference for a geographic area and for its age and sex. Reference body weight, we have withers height, and certainly the two are often correlated. And to interpret it better, we put it into percentile terms. And those of you with children will know that babies get weighed and measured at when the first few years of life to track their growth and development, see they're on the right track. And this is measured in percentile terms, not in absolute terms. So what are you doing before the prep starts? You've done the handling, you've got the horse well handled. Conformation is pretty much done by that stage. It's to do with selection of the mare and the stallion, your management of conformation with trimming, with screws, etc. During early stages of life. You've avoided growth setbacks, so you're not going to get a big surge in growth when you start increasing the feed for prepping. Good point to adjust to the feed. So perhaps the last month before the prep starts, get the horse used to the feed that they're going to be fed during prep. And that means that they'll eat better when they come in and avoid the setbacks that you often see the first week of life, the first week of prepping life. Hoof care needs to be done. Tail chewing, hopefully with your age of horses, they got past the tail chewing that affects weanlings. And often adding a bit of fat, either a higher oil feed or some oil or a fat supplement for about a month can help get the coat in good shape and make it easier to get the coat right for the sale. So what are the challenges of the sale prep? Number one, we're taking the horse off the paddock. So it's big diet change, it's an environment change. We want to keep, instead of being in a group, it's been kept as an individual now. So we want to keep the horse eating. And we've got it in a positive energy balance, so we want it well behaved too. So getting that balance right of putting some weight on, positive energy balance, and behaviour is important. We need to match the feed and the work, so to develop the ideal body condition for sale, and that will build muscle and fat cover. You need feed and work to build muscle. You can't just do it with one of them. And we have to get the horse fit for parading at the sales, and ideally you want it peaking at the right time. Now, depending on how many inspections you have at the farm before you go to the sale grounds might depend on how early you need to get it to a peak, but it's important to get the horse right on the day. There's a number of sale prep related issues, and I'll talk more about these in the third segment of this video, where we've got to be aware of gastric ulcers and hindgut acidosis that are common during this period. Colic, increased risk of colic. We've got to make sure we've got the horse in the right body condition, that we have good muscle development, behaviour, it's behaving. We want to avoid a rapid growth in height because this often causes fasciitis in the knees and maybe some conformation changes. And we've got to make sure that we don't have joint effusion because we're working the horse too hard. So first week of prep, it's adapting to the stable, adapting to a change in diet. You're probably not going to be feeding a full grain feed at this stage. You want a high hay intake. In fact, you want ad lib hay the whole way through, unless you've got it in a situation where you've got a hay belly that you need to manage. And you're trying to avoid some of the gut sort of upsets and avoiding the weight loss that you commonly see in the first week. I think, as I mentioned before, growth and condition monitoring in prep is really useful. So doing weekly body condition monitoring, weekly weight measurement, and then comparing weight and height to a reference value is really the professional way of dealing with it. Exercise is important. As I said, it's not just feed, it's fitness as well, and we need exercise to do that. It helps increase bone density or maintain bone density, tones muscle, often increases appetite, calms the horse down, and will get the horse fit. So the exercise needs to be individualized, plan ahead. Start off short duration, low intensity, and then monitor the progress for lameness, for fasciitis, for joint effusion. And you're going to vary it according to weight loss or gain. You're not going to be working a horse really hard if it's struggling to put weight on. There's a whole host of exercise you can use, and they're going to vary. Obviously, if you're selling 3-year-olds, riding them's an option that isn't with yearlings, but they've got to know how to hand walk because they'll be hand walking at the sales when they're parading, so they've got to know how to walk properly. Walkers in our part of the world are a major labour-saving device, but really helps get more exercise into the horse, and it's really useful. If you're wanting to build muscle, you've probably got to lunge them or ride them, but lunging does that. They often need some time out to play is good, and the safety of facilities is important. In the last week, what are you going to do there? You're probably going to cut the work back, and you're going to cut the grain back if you've got, for most of them, if you've got them in the right condition. You would adapt them to the feed that you're going to use at the sale, and you want to sort of think about avoiding a hay belly at that stage, and that may be related to contracting the amount of hay. Getting the coat right and getting the attention to detail vital so they're in the best possible shape to sell. At the sales, what do you want? You need the horse calm, alert, and they need energy to parade. You don't want the thing going every time you pull it out. It looks like it's going to run to the other side of the sale grounds because buyers will be put off by that. Very often people cut the grain back a little, but they still need energy. Avoiding boredom. Sale ground stables are not as nice. They're different. Often they're next to different horses, so that makes a difference to the individual. Avoiding the hay belly, and again, still maintaining that attention to detail. So in summary, hard work is rewarded when it comes to sale preparation. You've got the right pedigree, you've got the right physique, and then it's a matter of getting the horse looking at its best on the day, as you get rewards for a job well done. Individual attention to details is important. So feed will be individualised, work will be individualised, grooming, everything. It won't fix all problems. A good sale prep won't fix all problems. What you're needing is balanced nutrition and to be careful with your weight gain and feed them properly before they come in so they're not growing rapidly at that time. Exercise needs to be tailored to the individual, and remember that you're rearing an athlete. Now, for more information, we've got a fantastic website called Equine, which has got tens of thousands of articles. You can search and search for something that you're interested in, or you can subscribe to newsletters that come every fortnight and give you new information. Bluegrass's website, obviously, and they're a great resource and have got some terrific products that you can use in prep, and we'll talk about some of those next time. Thank you for your attention.